Hello, welcome MLB Pro Nerds. This is episode 4 of Rough Draft. My name is Sean Comey. With me, still so far as always, Scott Gesford. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing good, John. How's your back doing this morning? I know you heard it the other day.
Well, I am officially a 43-year-old man with a cane. Um, Not that I need it full time, but I'm gonna need it this week. So it's uh it's fun. Good times. Good times.
I understand that. I was 38 or 39 when I hurt my back and had to be on a walker for a while.
Yeah, I originally did mine at 35 and yeah, but nobody wants to listen to us talk about our backs because I'm sure we could do that for a while. Why don't you talk about some baseball, which we'll do. We're April 17th, 2023. Standing outlook. Start with the AL East as I've done. Jays and Rays tied for first as of today, both 9-7. Sox, Yanks, and Orioles all one game out. They're 8-8. In the Central, Twins 10-6, a game and a half up on the Tigers. The AL West Mariners are they're 11-5, half game up on the Angels. Phillies in the NL East, they're 12-4. They currently own the league's best record. They're 2 games up on the Braves. Cardinals and Brewers are tied in the Central, both 9-7. Reds are a game out. And in the NL West, the Dodgers are 11-5. They're a game and a half up on the Giants, who are 9-6. So that's kind of where things are. And let's jump right into this week's draft. This is just a headlines draft, as doing nothing special this week, just the stories. So Scott, you had the first round pick this week. I I think, yeah, you
Yeah,
did. I think I was supposed to have it, but it didn't matter because I would have taken the same pick first anyway. So, all right. So go ahead. What's your first round? What's your first pick today?
my first round pick this week is that the Dodgers starting pitchers are struggling. Holtzen has a 3.91 ERA, Evaldi 4.32. Those are the two people that we picked to be the Cy Young Award winners in the National League. Not doing so well. Cedric Flowers, 12.1 ERA, Steve White, 5.3. And so far, their best pitcher right now is probably Joseph Musgrove at 3.86. The Dodgers are, like you said, a game and a half above the Giants at 11:05 with their starting pitchers struggling like this. Can you imagine what's going to happen when those pitchers start firing on all cylinders? They may put this division away early the way it's going.
Well, okay. So first off, in looking at the overall picture, I would still say that Holtzen has been the best pitcher so far this year. His whip is an even one. He's given up 10 or 12 hit or 17 hits in 23 innings. We're going to come back to him a little bit later. He has a 105 ERA plus. Musgrove is at a 107 ERA plus, but his whip is 1.29. I would reason to believe that Holton has been better. But you're right. Like if you look at the rest of the staff, like I, it's like Holton and Musgrove are living in a completely different universe than Evaldi and Flowers and White. Like, how does this? Is what I understand. So Holton has a 264 BABIP. Evaldi has a 380 BABIP, which I do not understand for the life of me. He's got a 95 ERA plus and a 1.44 WHIP, 21 hits and 16 and two thirds. Only 3 walks, but still. And then you get the Cedric Flowers. Cedric Flowers has a 2.28 WHIP, a 400 BABIP. He's given up 18
Hmm.
hits and 9 and 2/3 innings. Um, his ERA plus is 34. At what point do you just say, you know, he's better off in the bullpen? What else do we have?
Yeah, or the minors. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like who? Like what? When do you pull the plug on Cedric Flowers starting pitcher?
And do they have somebody else on their major league roster, which I don't see, that could replace him? And Holtzen, yesterday pitched a gym. So his stats are lowered because of that gym from yesterday. I know we'll talk more about that in a little bit, though.
Yeah, the one guy I think they could possibly bring up, though, he's another guy that hasn't really been stretched out, is Alfredo Palma, who is down in AAA. He's 23. He's a lefty. He's a ground ball pitcher. Throws fastball, cutter, changeup. He has not looked good so far in AAA. But overall, like the makeup looks good. And AAA is a hitter's league. Whereas
And
pitching in Chavez Ravine, that's a completely different beast.
right, and I do have Jonathan Stanton at AAA, but he's not quite ready, probably, even though he's pitched 3 good games so far. Probably needs a
Right.
little bit more time to develop.
You know, if you're really worried, like what would you say on a scale of 1 to 10 is your worry factor if you're the Dodgers with your staff as a whole?
Probably 2 or 3. Not very worried at this point in the year. For pitching good. I think if you have to suffer through, if the other 4 pitchers can produce, and you got to put up the flowers once a week, you might just do that so you don't rush somebody like Jonathan Stanton to come up.
At what point do you say, let's go see what's out there? Like in terms of a trade. They have 193 million on their cap or on their payroll right now. I don't know if they have any flexibility to add anything more.
Right now, they
Um,
have about $5 million available for free agents, so they have a little bit
okay.
of room.
And realistically, so let's say they have 15. Let's say they have 15. Because you could dip in your cash a little bit
Hmm.
to make a trade. So let's say they have 15. Um, do you think it's possible that if they get into late May, or a month from now, let's just say a month from now, um, they're still having issues with Flowers and White. Um, do you think they're a team that could make a run at a Ryan Copeland?
I was just about to
Obviously,
say the
would have
same
to.
thing. I'd be calling the Cubs at that point,
I mean,
saying,
I
"What do
wouldn't
you
be
want?"
surprised if they've
Yeah.
called them already, but I mean, they're gonna have to make it work. I don't really know how they make it work payroll wise. Um, who you move, I mean, uh, it would be a weird one, but maybe you move Evaldi. Give the Cubs another trade chip, and it really would help with some of the salary, not just for this year, but a little bit more flexibility for next year. I mean, and that's assuming that Evaldi is this version of Evaldi, not last year's version of Evaldi. Um,
Right.
but you move him, you move, um, and probably one of those pitchers down in AAA. Um, I don't know if you move. I don't know. Maybe you do move Stan. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a
Um,
tough decision. I mean, I think it would depend on if the Dodgers really think that they have a chance at a World Series ring. I mean, you're not trading Stanton if you just think you're going to win your division and not make it to the World Series. That's my opinion.
right, right,
Yeah.
and I feel like, I mean, I'm not going to go so far as say this their best opportunity, but and that's because of my first round pick, but their window is not as open as it like people might think, you know? Like I don't know that they're a contender in this form in say 2025. They're not. They're not.
Right.
They're not.
You have a small window
So
here to take advantage of.
yeah. Yeah, because I mean Halton and Evaldi both being 33, Steve White being 31, Jose Abreu at 36. Like Andrelton Simmons at 33. Like, I mean, yeah, their window is not. I mean, you could be looking up at this
But
time next year and seeing a completely different Dodger team because maybe the window on this current core is this year only.
yeah, Evaldi is a free agent after 2024, and he's not going to sign for the way he's pitching the last couple of years. He's not going to sign for 18 million again.
I
You're looking at
mean,
25, 30 million probably, even
yeah,
though he'll be
and
34, 35.
and I don't see him aging like a Lincecum, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. So
yeah,
like, I
it
don't
does
know
to
that
me.
he would warrant such a deal.
I liked your
So
first round pick because I was kind of on the same bandwidth
yeah,
with you on that.
yeah. So mine is that the Phillies are the best team in the league right now, and I think I think it's obvious. Look at their team stats. They're first in runs scored and first in runs against. They are first in OPS. They're first in WOBA, first in home runs. They're first in bullpen ERA. They're fourth in starters ERA and FIP. They're first in strikeouts. Um, this team does everything well on both sides of the ball. You
Yeah.
know, we have highlighted offenses and lineups that are like 160, 180, 210 in like the 3, 4, 5, or like the middle of the order. Uh their primary lineup has Cam Gundy hitting 400, and not a quiet 400 at that. Like he's 400, 478, 550 on his triple slash, 181 OPS plus. He already has 1.0 WAR. He's on pace. He's on pace for a double digit WAR season. Um, and he's hitting second. Then there's Anthony Hale, who's hitting 322, 385, 678. He's already got 5 homers, 13 RBIs. He's hitting third. You got Kamita hitting um, fourth in that lineup. He's doing Kamita things. 305, 400, 542 for a 942 OPS. And Andrew Vaughn, who is hitting lights out of the gate too, 367, 403, 583 with a 165 OPS plus. And then you got Lubob hitting sixth at
Mhm.
304, 361, 607 in the 6 hole. Like, this team just mashes up and down the board, but their pitching and especially their bullpen. Take a guess. They have what? They have 8 pitchers in their bullpen. 8 pitchers. How many have ERAs of 0?
Probably 4, 5,
6.
6.
6 ERAs. And yeah, so I mean, and the fewest innings that anybody's thrown there is Christian Kissock at 4.2 innings. Like, yeah, it's small sample size. They're throwing blanks in the pen, which is good because the rest of their rotation has not been that good so far, outside of Pedro Magana, who is right now the best pitcher in baseball, and I don't think it's close. With him, he has an ERA plus of 458. Yeah,
Hmm.
so he is 450% better than the average pitcher in MLB Pro right now. That's
Yeah, and he's on
insane.
pace for like 11 and a half raw this year too, or this year.
Yeah. Like so the Phillies, I mean, yeah, they have holes in their rotation currently, but what team doesn't? We talked about this last week. The overall, um, the league ERA is terrible. Like,
Yeah.
just so them being fourth, I mean, granted, yes, with Magana, but it just
But they're a
I
team
don't
that
see
can
a team.
overcome a couple games with bad
Beating
pitching.
them.
Their hitters can make up for that.
Oh yeah.
So
And they're one of the few that can really do that. Like their team ERA is 2.89. The league ERA right now is 4.10, which is I'm glad that's come down.
yes,
I don't know, like what are your thoughts on the Phillies so far?
I love the Phillies. I thought they've always had a good makeup. They have a balanced team, like you said, pitching and hitting both. That's where you're dangerous. And they've already got a 2-game lead on Atlanta in their division. I mean, I think that the race is between them and the Dodgers right now for the NL. I mean, if the Dodgers pitching can turn around, that to me right now is the National League Championship Series.
Yeah. There's I would love to take credit for this build. Um, but there's only a handful of players that I have put have that I'm responsible for in this team, like Kamita and Magana and Gundy. But literally nobody else. I don't think. Oh, John O'Day. He's the other one. Um, but this is all, you know, like current management have done a wonderful job putting this team together. Like this is a really, really outstanding team, top to bottom. Deserve all the credit in the world for what this team is. And like I said, they're the best team in the league right now.
Yes, they are.
Doesn't mean they will be in a month, but they are right now. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, they have beaten the Yankees. They had a weird one. This is weird. I guess this was a makeup. Was this a makeup? It had to be a makeup, but it's still strange. So they had a series in New York early in the year. I guess this was
Mm,
the third, fourth, and fifth. And
right,
then
yeah.
I think one of the games was a rain out. I guess it had to be a rain out. Um, because then they were home to Cincinnati. They played Cincinnati on the 6th, won that game 4-0, had an off day on the 7th, and went to New York to play the Yankees and lost that 6-3, and then came back home on the 8th and played Cincinnati. What? That's a really strange schedule, but okay. Again, I'm
Yeah,
guessing that was a rain out that got made up
yeah.
on a weird
But it
off
had to
day.
have been, and I'm guessing that they don't play the Yankees in New York again, which is probably why they
Right.
needed to schedule it. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Yankees. I'm going to look up the Yankees real quick. Their schedule. Yeah, because they did the same thing. They were at Baltimore, flew to New York to play Philadelphia, and then went back to Baltimore on the 8th.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, that's definitely a very interesting scheduling quirk.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
yeah. All right, let's get to your second pick.
My second pick was how the Cubs and Guardians are at the bottom of the pack. The Pirates are trying to catch them, but really that's not anything really new. The two teams I'm surprised at that are down there in the bottom 5 or 6 are the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Kansas City Royals. Two teams that I think everybody predicted to have much better seasons than they're having at this point. How worried do you get if you are Kansas City or Arizona at this point?
Well, okay, so first off, this is the standings right now are the NFL's wet dream.
Yeah.
There are 23 of the 30 teams. I think I have that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 24. Yeah, I think it's 24. Are between 6 and 11 wins. And in fact, I may actually even have that a little bit lower next. I think if you look at what is it, 5, 7, 12, 16, 19, 21, no, 23. Yeah, 23 teams are between 11 or I guess I should say, 7-11 wins. 7-11. I'm discounting the Phillies, the Royals, the White Sox, the Guardians, the Pirates, Cubs, and Diamondbacks.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's
21 teams have a winning record or 500 or better.
yeah, and that really speaks to the fact that there is no great team this year, at least so far, at least so far, but
Yeah.
also to just how downtrodden the Guardians and Cubs are at this point in time. Um, so to answer your first question, on the Diamondbacks and Royals, I mean, Diamondbacks were dealing with injuries. The Royals are young and expectations. Like you put those two together, um, it's a recipe for erratic play. And the Diamondbacks have dealt with injuries and did not have they don't have the depth that they had last year to be able to cover those injuries, especially in the pitching staff. Like the pitching staff has been atrocious so far.
Yeah.
Um, they're hitting, they're starting to hit again, but that like they're another team that that the Copeland sweepstakes, my guess is going to heat up much sooner than later. Um,
Hmm.
and it might be an arms race between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, though I'm not really sure what the Diamondbacks could give them. Um, they just might have to ride it out till Shohei comes back. Um, but
That's 3 months from now. I mean, you're too far
yeah,
back at that point.
yeah, and so maybe you just say this is what we are. I don't know. Um, I want to come back to the Guardians and the Cubs because they're
Mhm.
um it's I feel like the for now at least the only time the Cubs would come up would either be when there's PR put out by Cubs administration or when we talk trades. And so I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about some good stuff with the Guardians and the Cubs. Um, the Guardians have a couple hitters that have been impressive so far. Alec Thomas, who was brought over from Tampa Bay in the Cade Cahill deal, one that also sent Gunnar Henderson, or no, Grayson Rodriguez, to Cleveland. He's been hitting relatively well so far, 273, 304, 348. His OPS is only 80, or OPS plus is only 81 right now. But he has been promising. He's a young 24. He's been playing center field for the Guardians, and he's been pretty decent. And then Jazz Chisholm, 298, 403, 526 so far in his first 67 plate appearances in the bigs. He's got a 155 OPS plus, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 4 doubles. He got 3 steals in 4 attempts. He has been so far as advertised for a team that is completely without offense otherwise. They have 2 guys in their lineup hitting under 100 right now, and a third who's hitting 111. They are pretty much last in every offensive category, but those 2 guys have been worth watching. Um, I mean, is there anybody on Cleveland outside of those guys who's been impressing you as of late?
The only other guy is Chris Betts, and he just went down with an injury for a couple days. He's batting 280, 321, OPS of plus of just 89. But if he decides to trade, I mean, he's making $17 million almost, and up
Mhm.
for arbitration again. I mean, when do you decide if you're going to trade? And you're already building for the future. Uh,
Yeah, and
that's the other guy who stands out to me.
yeah, he's 25. He'll turn 26 in December, and the catching position is terrible across the league offensively. Pardon me. It's a horrible position offensively. So if he were to go on the trade block, uh, I would guess that he would fetch more than maybe any other player who is a reasonable bet to be on the trade block this year. Um, the question then becomes emotional attachment.
Yeah.
If Cleveland can really bear to part with him, but then I would wager that the next time Cleveland has a winning team, Betts would not be a core part of it. We look at they're second in minor league systems. But Chisholm's already up. Rodriguez would be up, like he would be up if he weren't hurt. They've got Davis Mills, who is up. Yeah, he's up. So like their top three guys are already up. And then you're looking at Evan Waxman, who's 23, and he's in AAA and raking. He's the other guy who came over in the Cahill deal. And if he can be good, then that's another piece, but they still have so many other pieces that they need to add that I guarantee you, like if they put Betts on the block, they could get the rest of Tampa Bay's farm system for him.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen Betts, or Swift, one now, one after you make the trade a couple weeks later, or put them both up there and get a massive haul and take your lumps.
Yeah, I feel like Swift is a harder sell at this point, but than Betts. But yeah, I could see it. For the Cubs, Jordan has been great. Eloy has been really solid. 302, 353, 413, 110 OPS plus. A couple of guys I like outside of them. Cameron Cannon has been pretty good, especially considering he had not played above A ball before coming up this year. He was originally a 7th round draft pick in 2019, and then he just sat. He played 2 full seasons in Myrtle Beach. And last year he had 314, 401, 459, had a 5.6 WAR season in A ball. Like that's unheard of because guys don't spend enough time in A ball to get 5.5 WAR. But he's come up and he's done the job. He's older. He's 25, which is also like, why was he in A ball for that long? But okay.
Yeah.
And then
especially since in 21, he had a 4.0 WAR.
Yeah.
At Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Like it was
so was Jab sleeping and not just promoting his people for a year?
I don't know. It's a weird one. Like I kind of would want to know the explanation on that, like why he stayed down. I'm guessing it had something. There's something developmental that maybe Jab's picked up on, but I don't know. Gavin Lux has also come to play this year. Like he had a rough full first season. Last year he had a 649 OPS plus and 80 or OPS and 83 OPS plus. So far in 15 games, he's already generated half the WAR that he generated all of last year. He's at 0.6 WAR. He's at 304, 365, 482, a 130 OPS plus. The Cubs have some decent pieces. To really build on here. Not to mention Julio Urias. Dom Porter has looked pretty decent so far. The one guy I really wonder if they're going to look at keeping is Ed Harris. What do you do with Ed Harris if you're the Cubs?
Oh,
he's 30.
Depends. Yeah, 30. on pace to go up to like almost $9 million next year.
Not the way he's hitting, he's not.
No, not the way he's sitting right now. But
No,
can you get anything for him right now? I mean, what he's worth. Uh, you probably can't get much for him right now. So the hope is that he starts hitting, and then when you get into June, then you move him.
right. But
But I don't
is
see you
that,
getting a much value right now.
um, I wonder what the market is for a player like Ed Harris who can run like crazy. But there seems to be a glut of outfielders that look like Ed Harris, not speed wise, but everything else.
Mhm.
And so, he's another guy that probably isn't going to be there the next winning team that they have.
Right.
So would you trade him to, I mean, the Dodgers perhaps? Or I mean, probably not, though they could probably use somebody as a DH. And I mean, I'm not sure. I'm spitballing at this point. But like
Yeah.
Boston could probably use him. Um, Cincinnati could use him.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a lot of teams that could use, you know, that could use
yeah,
them. But what are those teams willing to give up?
right. Because there's a lot of players who look like Ed Harris out there
Yep.
and could be hitting 214 for a lot less money. So
Yes.
I, yeah. All right. Um, but I felt like we had this, like, anytime we get a chance to talk about the teams that aren't doing as well, I would like to do that.
Yes.
Of course, naturally with my second round pick, I'm going back to your first round pick,
Yeah.
and that's Danny Holtzen getting pulled 7 2/3 into a no hitter. Uh, this happened on what was it?
Yesterday,
That
the
yeah, happened
16th.
yeah, happened yesterday. So it happened against the Cubs. Um, he had thrown 106 pitches before he got pulled. He walked 2, struck out 9. He came in. Dennis Moore then came in, and when was that hit given up? Um, so oh, that happened with 2 outs in the ninth.
Yeah, they made it all the
Oh,
way to the.
yeah, yeah. Gavin Lux got an infield hit with 2 outs in the ninth. So that's a second no lost with 2 outs in the ninth inning. Nick Pickett went 8 2/3 before giving up a hit against Cleveland back on the 14th. That one was 11 strikeouts and just 1 walk. But then he gave up um, he gave up a single to Chris Betts. Um, and then Cleveland scored a couple runs. But would you have pulled Holtzen that deep into a no hitter? Like, would you have done that?
If I was the manager, probably not. I probably would have at least let him finish the eighth to see if he could, survive that. And if he could, I might have ran him out in the top of the ninth or the ninth inning just to give him a chance. But if he would have walked somebody else or gave up a hit, I probably would have yanked him just to save his arm for future.
Oh yeah, but it's not like Holtzen's a young kid, and it's not like
That,
he's an aged veteran. He's what, 33? Yeah, he's 33. Now, Dan Fitzgerald does not have a history of he's the Dodger manager. He does not have a history of being quick to yank pitchers. Um, but this one just stuck out. Like, I don't recall a time in MLB Pro history where a pitcher took a no hitter into the eighth, still had the no hitter, and got pulled without there being an injury or anything. Like, it just, and looking at his outings, this was the most pitches he had, like, in his previous 2 starts. He threw 89 against Colorado and then 84 against the Giants. So this one was 20 pitches over, 23 pitches over the, or no, 17 pitches over math. Um, his highest up to that point.
Yeah,
I
and it
was-
took more, another 16 pitches to finish the eighth and the ninth. So you're looking at what, 122 pitches if he does it roughly the same. I think
Yeah,
for
I
an
get,
outing here or there, that's okay, but not long term.
I guess the thing that really probably goes into account here is it was 1-0.
Yes.
And
And he
you
had
know,
just walked Cameron.
okay, yeah, then that would probably do it. Like, you know, if this is even 2-0, Holton probably gets a chance to finish the inning. 1-0, you know, people think that only wins in September matter. Like, no, like September matters because of getting wins now.
Yes.
And so getting this win, uh, more important than Holton having a chance for a no hitter. I would say. Um, I don't think he hasn't
All
thrown
right.
a no hitter, right? He hasn't thrown one.
I don't know. That's hard to go back and look at.
No, I've got that. Yeah, he's gone one,
3 hit
two.
shutout, 3 hit shutout.
He threw a one hitter against the Rockies back on June 23rd, 2021, a two hitter against the Rays on June 17th. That made a heck of a week for him. Um, you know, one hitter back on September 12th, 2019 against Cincinnati. A two hitter
On,
in 2019, a three hitter. Holy crap.
yeah, he went back to back 3 hitters back in 2015 against the Giants and Royals.
Yeah, like he's done some things.
Yeah.
No hitters. No, he has no, he's not pitched a no hitter. He's not pitched a no hitter. The last no hitter being Lucas Giolito back on September 3rd of last year. We almost had two in 3 days. So, but
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting and probably some good managing by Fitzgerald on that one. Let's get to your third round pick.
And I was going to say, finish up on that is he had such a great outing too. If you leave him in there, he gives up a long ball or something. He goes out maybe with his head down a little bit instead of going out confidently.
Yeah. Yeah, like that
So,
that is a big one for confidence. Yeah.
so my third round pick is who the hell is Royce Lewis? I mean, I know who he is because I traded for him when I was a GM of the Reds.
So you already just
Uh,
answered your own question.
well, yeah, but how many people in the league know who he is? He's so far this year, he's had 58 at bats, 20 hits, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBI, 7 runs scored. He has struck out 15 times, but he has a 345 batting average, 415 on base percentage, 552 slugging percentage, OPS of 967, OPS plus of 163, and already right up and 2 steals. Play
Well,
shortstop. Okay.
I mean, it's not like he's a first round pick. He's a former first round pick. It's not like he's just some guy who came out of nowhere. He was he was around top 50 in the league in prospects until he broke his elbow at the in August of 2021 and missed a while and then had a setback. He actually, like, holy crap, he actually had two big setbacks. Let me just,
Yes.
because oh yeah. Oh wow. So okay, so he's been off the radar because so he broke his elbow August 31st or August 29th of 2021. He has a setback on January 8th and was said that he would miss another 8 months, and then had another setback on July 12th and missed another 6 weeks. So he missed essentially all of 2022. It came back for the end of it. He spent 9 games at Louisville in AAA, hit 333, 351, 361, and comes up to Cincinnati for the last month of the year and hits 309, 339, 445, has a 121 OPS plus. I'm willing to bet that people knew who he was. Like, he's a headline feel-good story from last year.
Yes, I think he's outproducing where even where I projected him to be. I mean, he was one of the centerpieces in the Kobe Alorod trades that I did to Atlanta that year. And I just think he's coming into his own now, and people better get to know his name because I think he's going to be around for a while.
He's been in some pretty big deals too. He was traded. He was actually traded in a money deal. He was traded to the Yankees along with Carol Curtis, who's now with the Mets, not hitting well with the Mets. We don't need to look him up. For $3 million. And then he got traded along with Kyle Cody, Mariano Gonzalez, who's currently starting for the Twins. Cody is starting for the Tigers. Elliot Jenkins, who is currently starting for the Rays, and Hideki Hayashi, who is an everyday player with the Giants. He was traded for Nathan Eovaldi and Robert Paulus. Like, he was a marquee part of that trade. He's been part of 3 trades, which seems like every player is part of 3 trades before you come up. He was in another deal. The deal that sent him to Atlanta was with Jared Stevens and Jamie Vega. And Eric Braun, who's in Chicago. And current teammate Fernando Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Like, he's been in some really big deals, but like, yeah, he is definitely performing really well. I think, I mean, what do you think his final numbers look like?
I think he is a 275, 280 hitter somewhere in there with, 25 home runs, somewhere in there. But I think where you miss him is he's got speed off the charts. I think that's where he could be the biggest advantage to the Reds is, being able to run. But I think that's kind of the way the Reds are made up. That's the way my envision was with the Reds, was kind of like your philosophy. You can get on base, you can run, make things happen on the base paths. You turn a single you go from first to third, on a single, that kind of stuff. Come home on a double. So that's the way they're kind of built. And I think if he stays that way, and right now he is batting 9th against right-handers and 1st against lefties in their lineup. So they're going to utilize that speed. But I can see him being 275, 280, somewhere in there. 25 steals.
I completely missed that he was up in 2021. I don't know why I missed it, but I missed it. We had 271, 341, 424 for a 114 OPS plus. He had 3.3 WAR as a 21-year-old. I think he's going to hit 300. Like, I actually think you're looking at a borderline all-star.
Yeah, I think so too. I love the kid. That's why I went out and got him when I was GM of the Reds for this, that he's performing now. And with his setbacks, I was afraid that he wasn't going to get to be able to do this.
Like, I think you're looking at a borderline all-star this year. In fact, I think you're probably looking at an all-star. Like if it were to be now, he'd be an all-star in the
Yeah,
National League. He would probably be this probably he probably would be the starting shortstop in the National League just based off of production alone.
and he'd have to start getting into the conversation for, well, for sure, comeback player of the year, and maybe
Oh yeah.
even MVP. He's on an 8.8 WAR pace,
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. Um,
but he's going to strike out a ton. But you live with that.
everybody strikes out a ton.
That's for sure.
That's the league. Like, yeah. So yeah, Royce Lewis is a, heck of a ball player right now.
Yep.
Um, well, we go from one guy who has been performing quite well to another who is now on the shelf. My third round pick is Aaron White, going down for Houston, um, and the effect that it's going to have on the rest of their team. He was playing, um, he was playing second base for them. Um, he has been a stalwart, though he wasn't as good last year as he was in 2021 when he had 29 homers, had a OPS plus of 134. Still, his OPS plus last year was 116. This year was only 21. But
Hmm.
what it means for Houston is that now they have to press Justin Ellis, who might be the best utility player in the league, um, into everyday action. And because now, I mean, Bregman slides over, um, you know, from third base to second base. I guess Tatis moves from shortstop. Is that right? Yeah, he moves from shortstop
Yeah.
to third base, and then Ellis goes to shortstop. Um, which I wonder if that's what I would do in that case, or if I would keep Ellis at third. Because
Yeah. And then they have Bill Weaver, who can also play second or short, and great glove. Not a lot of hit,
right,
but could you live with that in Houston's lineup?
right. And this is another team. I don't know how much do they have available to spend. I don't know where you find that. I have no idea where to find it. I know they have
So if
168
you so
on their
if you
payroll.
go to if you go to the home tab on a team and then go
Yeah.
meet the team, it'll tell you how much money they have for free agents and
Oh, okay.
extensions.
There we go. Okay. Um,
So
so
they have
yeah, they got
10.5 million.
so realistically they could spend up to like 20 million for a guy. The question is, can they find the right guy?
Hmm.
And this is their situation's a little bit different than the Dodgers because their best players are all in their 20s. Like
Yeah.
they're not an aged team. Their window is significantly bigger. Um,
Right.
so but then it comes down to like, well, who could possibly be available? Um, honest God, I can't think of an infielder right now who could come available, um, that would be worth pursuing. Um, I know that there was some overtures, at least last year for O'Neal Cruz, and um, if the Rays could find either a second baseman or a shortstop, it's possible that Cruz becomes available again, and you move Witt over to third base. Um, but it would probably take a lot to get Cruz at this point. Um, but everybody's so muddled. Like I'm not even sure. I'm not really sure where you could pivot to try and find such a such a player to fill that gap. So I guess they're relying on Ellis and Weaver. Um, do you think this hurts them? I guess to what degree do you think this hurts them in trying to win the AL West and a World Series this season?
I don't see it really hurting them too much, because they have the other players that they can move around. They had Bregman and Tatis who can play multiple positions and move around, and then with a guy like Ellis or Weaver, with that lineup, you don't need 9 people that can hit 30 home runs. If that last guy who plays second or shortstop that plays Gold Glove defense, to them, I think that's just as valuable as anything else. So me personally, I might even be willing to stick Bill Weaver in there at second or short and move the guys around uh, to fit him into defense and let them play and give them a couple weeks with Weaver, a couple weeks with Ellis, and see if they can steady the ship before I make any rash decisions.
The one guy I might try and kick the tires on is Trevor Story.
Mm.
Not to
I can say he
possibly
would be
drum up any
available.
business for you, but he's a guy that I would probably try and look at, or oh no, I wouldn't. I was gonna say Chad Lewis, but that contract is prohibitive. Um,
And you can claim him, I think, right now on waivers.
oh really?
Yeah.
Um,
If I remember right, I saw him on waivers the other day, whether he still is or not. Yep, Chad Scott is still on waivers.
no,
But
no,
his contract is
not Chad Scott, Chad Lewis in
Chad
Lo-
Lewis with the Mets.
yeah,
Yeah, he has a huge contract.
yeah, he does. Um, so, but I I think I'd have to look a little bit more on that one. It looks like Boston has put a claim on Chad Scott.
Okay.
So that looks like he may be heading there. I want to do my fourth round pick before we get to your fourth round pick.
Sounds good to
Um,
me.
yeah, so my fourth round pick is Dodgers starters are struggling. Have you seen Milwaukee? Seriously, have you looked at Milwaukee's rotation? Um,
Hmm.
so
After you
they're
posted that, I went and looked at him.
yeah, they're 14th in starter ERA. But they're sixth in WHIP, or not in WHIP, not in WAR. They're seventh in FIP. That's what happens when you combine FIP and WAR. Um, you get WHIP. Uh, they so they should have a trio that is as good as anybody. But Pedro Cuevas is he's 2-0, but with a 4.07 ERA. He's been league average 103 ERA plus, 297 BABIP, 1.23 WHIP. Then you get to Cody McCutch, or McCooch, however you want to pronounce it. I guess McCooch. He's given up 20 hits in 9 1/3. His WHIP is 2.46. He has a BABIP of 500. In and he's had 3 starts. So his 3 starts have lasted 4 1/3, 2 innings, and 3 innings. And they've come against the Cubs, where he only gave up 2 runs. But then he gave up 6 earned to St. Louis, which isn't a particularly great offense. Now, granted, I get giving up 5 runs to Arizona, but he's supposed to be much better than this. And he has the past 2 years. And then Duncan Dumoulin. He's got a BABIP of 479. He's got a 2.19 WHIP. He's given 25 hits in 12 1/3. 18 earned runs. He's got an ERA plus of 32. Yeah, Zach Greinke's been good. He's actually been really good. A WHIP of 1, ERA plus of 1.4 or 147, BABIP of 224. He's 1-0 with a 2.84. Asa Lacy's been really good so far. I guess okay, he's not been really good so far. He's been a phantom so far. He's got a 2.13 ERA and a 196 ERA plus. He has a 1.82 WHIP. He just doesn't give up any home runs. And so when he's given up 14 hits and walked 9 guys in 12 and 2/3, he's been able to pitch out of those jams. So it doesn't mean he's been good. He's just been fortunate.
Right.
But this staff is terrible. Why? Why is this staff terrible?
That's a $24,000 question. I mean, and it's not like they're old either. You know, you can't blame that. I mean, Greinke's old, but the other ones are, you know, Suevis is 24. You know, the 24, 23. Matooch is the oldest at 27 outside of Greinke. I just don't know where you go from there. Do they have anybody in triple? I mean, their offense is carrying that team. How long can that go on for in the NL Central? The way
Yeah.
teams are like St. Louis is coming around, the Reds are a game out. You know,
Well, to be honest, the central, neither central division is good right now. Right now, I don't think either division is good. Period. But the NL Central might be the weakest division in the league in terms of um having a champion that you think is a contender. You know, like every other
mhm.
division, every other division has a likely champion that is a World Series contender. I don't buy it with any of the other with the NL Central. And I picked the Brewers to win the division, I think.
I think you did.
I did. I did. I did. I wanted
Yes,
to be
you
an
did.
I wanted to be an edgy hipster. And but I did it because I really thought that this, like, I thought the offense is what they are. Their offense is pretty fantastic. Um, you know, they're top 3 in every category but home runs. But I did it also looking at these 3 pitchers and be like, well, they're really good pitchers and they have a better offense in St. Louis and they have better pitching in Cincinnati. Um, but only one of those things has been true so far.
Yeah.
And it I don't it befuddles me. Um, and I wonder how long they let this go before they start looking at challenge trades. Like if they hit up Detroit at some point, be like, hey, we'll trade you, you know, Dunkelar, McCooch for Chris Scalise and see where that goes. Um, because if these guys are these guys, like if they're this by the end of May, at some point you've got to make a tough decision. And
Yeah. You either got to, at that point, you either go all in or you sell off
yeah, like do they go and
into the,
hit up Tampa for like Hunter Johnson? Like that could be another one. Like there are pitchers out there like Arizona and Jeffrey Stone, who's been god awful this year. Um,
mhm.
like there are guys that maybe suddenly need a change of location, as ridiculous as that might sound for some of these guys. But you know, if they don't get it together, um, you know, this league is not one where you have a lot of patient GMs.
Nope, that's for sure.
No. And they're good enough that there could be some challenge trades in the works if they decide to get a little frisky. I could see that. Um, all right. Your 4th round pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say something nice about Hines and the Giants this week. I kind of ripped on them last week, and I kind of
No,
feel bad
you're
how.
obligated. You're obligated to say something nice about him because you lost a bet.
No, no, they were supposed to go 4-2 this week for me to say something nice about them.
No, they just have to be better than the Marlins. Oh
Well, I
no, they
thought I
had to
said if they
if they
would have a
won
winning
their
record.
series against the Dodgers. If they won their series against the Dodgers, which they did.
Yeah, so that's why I decided I wanted to say something nice because they do have a good team built for San Francisco. Uh, not quite built to be on the road yet, but I think that comes in time. before they went this last weekend against and got swept by the Tigers, they had been on an 8-2 streak. They're going to cause some problems in that National League West for teams like they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. They'll do fine the next couple weeks as they go to Miami and then face off against the Mets, and then they get to go against the Cardinals. I mean, I told you last week, if I remember right, I said that they would have a losing record by the end of the month. I don't see that happening. I think that they'll stay above 500 and stay in the race for a while. But Hines is doing a great job building that team up. Just a matter of time to, like you said, go on the road and get them built to do both at home and on the road. So I
Yeah.
wanted to say congratulations to Hines. He's kind of going in the right direction. And the build sometimes takes a couple years to finally flush out. And I think he's well on his way. I think he's ahead of schedule.
Well, yeah, he's in
Which is
year
good.
2. He's in year 2 of that build.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I'm glad you did that because before this week, like I thought maybe you were gonna challenge him to a Donnybrook or something.
A duel,
Yeah,
old-fashioned duel.
yeah, you had your white glove and you were the man's satisfaction. And that would I would probably pay to see that. I'd probably and I'm a pacifist, but man, that would be just hilarious to me.
Hey, he and I are only 2 hours away from each other.
Oh, well, I guess don't tempt you with a good time.
Yeah, we're pretty
Um,
close to each other.
well,
But yeah,
Heinz,
I just wanted to
be on the
give him a
lookout.
hard time. Yeah, I just wanted to give him a hard time. I mean, we got to have some sort of rivalry going. I mean, maybe I took a little bit too far. I don't want to push him away. I just want to beat him.
Well, I if he continues down this path, I'm just gonna say, Heinz, just be on the lookout. Just be on the lookout. I don't know.
Oh,
Let's get to stash sell
yes.
for this week. Who you stashing this week?
I'm stashing. I'm going to go old school rotisserie baseball style, where you take a starting pitcher that has 2 starts in a week, and that for me this week is Matthew Liberatore from the Tigers. Tonight they get a play against Cleveland, and I mean, if you're looking to get yourself better, no better team to go against than Cleveland right now. They're struggling. And then his second start would be at Baltimore on the weekend. And Baltimore's struggling right now. And I love the makeup of Liberatore long term. I think he could be, he is the number 1 pitcher on the staff. I think he could become a true ace in our league. Not so right now. I mean, he's struggling so far this year in his 3 starts, but I think this is the time for him to get healthy and break out of it and propel him to a successful year.
I mean, he hasn't been terrible up to this point. Like he has, I mean, sure,
A
okay.
5.11 ERA.
Yeah, but ERAs aren't like they're an advertisement for false advertising. Like his whip is 1.14. He's got a 219 BABIP. Yes, his ERA plus is down because he's given up 3 home runs. Like that's the basis of that.
And he hasn't made it out of the 6th inning yet this year. 5.1 in his first start against Tampa Bay, and then 3 against Houston and 4 against Toronto. So, maybe it's manager decision to try to, not keep him out there so long right now. I mean, because most pitches so far this year is 81.
Yeah, that's probably like he could get stretched out more than that, but that's also probably um well at the same time. Well, no, I can't even see that. Like I guess I could see 79 in 4 innings, but I've
Mhm.
no like was he hurt in the game against yeah, he was injured in the game against Detroit or not Detroit, Houston. He came out with an injury. Um
Oh, okay, yeah,
so
on his
so
left
that I
hand.
could yeah, so that I could see. Um, like the thing I like, well, I guess I should say his Ks are down almost two from last year, but Detroit's defense is so far better than last year. And I think that's been beneficial for Liberatore. Like I expect that ERA to go down significantly and probably within a start because Cleveland, we'll talk about Cleveland's offense again here in a couple minutes. Um, but
Yeah,
I could
I
say I
just
could say ERA really taking a dive.
yeah, I just wanted to go old school, you know, rotisserie fantasy baseball that we used to play back in the 90s,
Mhm.
and, I'm dating myself here, but,
Well, no,
always look for
and
that pitcher who had 2 starts
and
that could turn it
you're
around.
you're doing it right because you're also taking somebody who could be on the upswing. Where I keep taking guys that are kind of you would be selling high on. Um,
Mhm.
like because I took Cody Ponce, but I really just wanted Cody Ponce to get some pub. But I actually think he could have a little bit of staying power. Now, I don't think he is um the 0.93 whip or 447 ERA plus that he's been for the Yankees, but he fits their ballpark really, really well. He's an extreme ground ball pitcher in a stadium where it's difficult for right-handers to hit it out. And like it's clear that there is a marked difference between last year in Philly, where he had a 1.48 whip and a 325 BABIP versus this year where he's got a 255 BABIP. And it's not like he has pitched against bad offenses. Like he held Philly's offense to 1 run in 8 1/3 innings. He held Baltimore to 1 run in 4 innings. And then he held Minnesota's offense scoreless over 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits.
Mhm.
Um, he has been extremely effective. And out of their two starters who are pitching really well right now, John Butler being the other one, Ponce has the staying power. I like, and I think like you stash him because he's also somebody that nobody's paying attention to. Like the Yankees are somebody that should be talked about. If they do well this week, they are going to be probably my top pick next week. Um, like the fact they're
Oh,
A8
yeah.
is amazing, but Ponce has been so far the best budget signing that any team has had so far. So I wanted to give him some love.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a tough 10 days for the Yankees because 'cause they're 3 against the Angels at home, then 3 against Toronto at home, and then 3 against Minnesota in Minnesota. So this will
Yeah.
tell if the Yankees are gonna be, decent or if they're gonna start pulling back.
Oh, I mean, I imagine at some point they're going to start falling back, but like as I said it earlier in the year, the Yankees are a tougher out than people give them credit for. Like they are a pretty decent home team. And that's just one like at home this year. What is their record? Oh, see, they're 4-6 at home, which is amazing. They're
Yes.
4-2 on the road, but they're still like they get Butler and Ponce, I think, throwing two against the Angels. Um, I think they're they lost 2 out of 3 against the Phillies and then 2 out of 4 against Minnesota. Like there's that's nothing to sneeze at because they're not on their level. Like so them being
Right.
4-6 at home, like still That's not terrible.
No, that's not terrible at all.
No. Uh, who you selling?
I'm selling Hunter Bishop from Baltimore this week. He's batting 319, 411 on base percentage, and a 226 of OPS plus. I think he's playing way over his head. And if I'm Baltimore, I'm looking to cash in and either play him until he goes cold, or maybe even try to trade him at this point if somebody's wanting to, an outfielder and sell high on the guy. But I don't think he's going to keep this up for very much longer. Last year he was playing in Double-A ball and did fine. 282, 370, but to skip Triple-A, and I think he needs more time in seasoning if he's going to be consistent. But I just think he's going to get cold. He's not even starting in Baltimore's lineup. He's the backup outfielder in DH.
Well, he's had to. He started, 12 of his 13 games he started. He's just not in their primary lineup, but he's started 12 of the 13 games that he's been in, he started.
Yeah. So I like to find a player that is performing over their head and sell them high.
I'm not sure he's performing over his head. Everywhere he's gone, everywhere he's been as a professional, he's hit. And yeah, he skipped Triple-A, but he's 24. He's going to be 25 in June. And he had a 149 OPS plus last year. He had a 507 slugging percentage. Yeah, he's not going to slug 830 like he is now. But the one thing that stands out with him, so last week, he currently leads the majors in home runs with 7. Last week he hit 3, but he hit 318, 464, 818. His average is on par with what he's hit over the course of the season. He's seen 319. He walks. He's got 8 walks and against 15 strikeouts. Like, he has other ways of getting on base that I seriously like, and I would have been going against the buy sell rules, because I would have been like, buy him up, because you're gonna get a lot of people like yourself that are saying, well, this isn't sustainable. And that's why I'm like, I would buy him up because I think it is. I think he could easily hit 290 with 30 homers. Like, he has the makeup to do it. And he's got the lineup to be protected. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and I look at him and I see a guy that's probably going to hit, 260, maybe 270. He's going to walk some, but he has not a whole bunch of speed to be effective on the base paths. He's good defensively, but not outstanding. Doesn't have much gap power. He's going to strike out a lot, but we talked about that. Everybody strikes out a lot in this league. Yeah, I just see him coming down into this 260 range with probably a 340, 350 on base, which is good. I just think he's way over his head right now.
One thing I like about him, and then I'm gonna move on, because I know we're gonna be time. He's hit in the lineup. He's either hit fourth, fifth, sixth, or 7th. The worst he's hit, he had one game where he hit 7th and he didn't get a hit. He's hitting 429, hitting 4th. He's hitting 294, hitting 5th, and he's hitting 309, 308, hitting 6th. He's also hitting at least 312 in all low, medium, and high leverage situations. He's actually hitting his best average wise in high leverage spots. Like, he's been consistent. Like, because normally you would say, like, well, he's somebody who's hitting well because he's hitting down in the order, or he's doing all of his things in low average spots or low leverage spots. No, he's doing it across the board. And that's and the other thing about him is he mashes when he's ahead of the count. He's hitting 667 ahead of the count. And he's the type of guy who can get ahead of the count with some regularity, which also leads me to believe that he is a candidate for sustained production. Do you have any argument against that?
No, I don't. I can see him, you know, performing better, but just I just see him dropping back to, you know, he didn't play very long in A ball. He made it double A, then jumped triple A. And to me, that's kind of a sign that says, you know, he starts off really good, and he's going to balance out and come back down to earth. So, but he is an
You
old
know,
24. So
yeah, and that's the other thing is like Baltimore has a history of having guys older than they should be in the minors. Like Julio Rodriguez is, I mean, he's 22, but he's only in A ball and he should probably be in double A or triple A at this point. Like,
yeah, at
but
least
it's a
getting bats at
system,
double A, and yeah,
but it's a system that has seemingly like Tyson Detmer only got 25 games at triple A before he came up. And then he hit 38 home runs last year. Like, I guess he's got a system that seemingly works for him in Baltimore, but I mean, I guess we'll see. Um,
yeah.
so I'm selling Josh Gray. I know we talked about him last week. I don't want to spend too much time on him. I don't see how. And yeah, he's a former Tampa guy who signed still a ridiculously large contract that I still don't know how. Like, and this is where there's obviously a scout discrepancy in the league because Texas clearly sees him as an all-star, whereas I know Tampa scouts see him as a fringe player with incredible speed, but he's not
Hmm.
412, 474, 627. He's not that. He's not 202 OPS plus. Um, and I feel like he's really due to come crashing down the earth anytime. I think he's been awesome so far, and I'm really happy for him. But he's he's due to come down um pretty soon. I don't want to see it. I really am a big Josh Gray fan, but if there's any time to sell high on the stock of a player, I'm not saying trade them. They shouldn't trade them, but to sell high on the stock of a player, it's right now on him.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I mean, to me, in my scout, he looks average. You know, maybe a little bit above average because of that speed and his great defense at third base. But
Yeah,
yeah, his offense have been off the charts.
yeah, and I don't see it being sustainable. Um,
I don't see it either.
yeah. Yeah. All right, we've got head to head. We've got just a couple minutes here. Last week, so just to go over these, who had the better week? Miami or San Francisco? Well, Miami only had one win. San Francisco had three. San Francisco took that one, so I got that one. I took San Francisco. You took Miami.
Yep.
Number the Cleveland scores 10 plus runs against the Yankees.
I
You
bombed
said
that
they would
one
do it. Yeah, you said
in
they
two
would do it in the
games.
first two. Um, they scored 6 over the entire series. So you lost on that one. I said no. So I got that. And then Chris Scalise getting a quality start against Toronto. He had probably his best start of the year, but did not get a quality start. So you got that one. I did not. So I went 2-1. You went 1-2. You are 5-4 on the year. I am 6-3. Now we added one for this week. Which may be a thing going forward.
I thought it was a
So
good
we'll
suggestion by, I think it was,
yeah,
Jim from Detroit suggested that we take a series,
yeah.
and
I think he wanted
that's
a
what we
deeper
added.
dive on the series. Yeah, I think he wanted a deeper dive on the series, which that we're not going to do today, but time
Maybe
permitting in the
next week.
future. So
Yeah,
yeah, so first one here, tomorrow, Angels, Yankees, Paul Erickson against John Butler. Who wins? The reason I put this up here is both pitchers have been amazing so far. Erickson
mhm.
doing Erickson things, but John Butler has been 3-0 with a 1.45 ERA so far and a .59 WHIP. This game is at Yankee Stadium, where Butler has 2 of his 3 wins. The other one came against Cleveland. Who do you like in this game?
I like the Angels. The Angels are turning it around. They struggled early in the year, and now they're, what are they? Half game behind Seattle at 10-5. The Yankees are average. Like you said before, 4-6 at home. I like Erickson and the Angels in this one.
Yeah, I took the Angels too. It's just they have a great lineup that can beat you in many different ways. And as good as Butler has been, I like the Angels in this one. I mean, Butler might get a no decision, but especially with Erickson on the mound, that's really, really difficult for the Yankees to win. Number
Yeah,
2, which league leader stat will be higher 1 week from today? Home runs or stolen bases? Currently, the league leader in home runs, as I said before, was Hunter Bishop with 7, and the league leader in stolen bases is where is it? Where is it? Is
I,
Hideki Abe with 7. And
and
also
Roberto
Roberto
Torres
Torres with
tied.
7.
Yeah,
Yeah. So which stat category do you think will have the higher league leader?
I went with speed. I went with the stolen bases. We have a lot of speed people this year. The people who are up there in home runs, I don't see them, mashing a lot this week. So I'm betting on people's legs and their steals.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Is that right? 10 guys? Or 9 guys. There are 9 guys who have at least 6 stolen bases, 11 guys with 5. Um, so the question here is volume. And can the guys who get a lot of steals get enough steals to overcome the power? Now, there's only 3 guys in the league who have at least 6 home runs. There's another 8 guys, so there's 11 guys on both sides who have at least 5. But there are like Anthony Hale's got 5, Lou Bob's got 5, Miguel Sano's got 5, Jeremy Scott's got 5, Jacob Skull's got 5, Ramon Zaragoza's got 5. Edgardo Arredondo has 6. Hunter Bishop's got 7. He leads the league. I think there's a greater chance that a couple of these guys, or even a couple of these guys who have 4 home runs, could have a 4 home run week, like Ryobi Kamita could have a 4 home run week. Brian Hennessy could have a 4 home run week. So I took the home runs in this case just because I think the volume is more possible for home runs than steals. Number 3, one thing I've started looking up is milestones, and milestones are coming up, and there's one that has been sitting there all season long. Kavia Sampson get his 100th win Thursday in Boston. He's been sitting on 99. He's 0-3, I think, so far this year. He's 0-1. I'm sorry, 0-1 in 3
0-1 in 3
starts.
starts. Yeah.
But they've been good 3 starts. He's .96 WHIP. He's had a ERA plus of 165. Like, he's had a good season.
Yeah,
So,
but
but will he get number 100 in Boston?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to take him at a no decision on that day.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
Minnesota will win
Boston.
the game, but I think he'll get a no decision.
Um, Boston at home is 6-3. Um, I said no as well. Mainly because of Boston's pitching and that this will probably be a low scoring game. And, I think that kind of tips the scales a little bit to Boston on that one. So I said no as well. The last one, the series I picked, it doesn't seem like it's a week for really great matchups per se. I looked at it for like 2 minutes, honestly. It didn't look that long, but I took Tampa Bay and Cincinnati because these are teams that are both at an early crossroads. Tampa did not look good against Toronto at all. They looked like hot garbage in Toronto. And their team is 2-4 on the road, and Cincinnati, so like Tampa's now 9-7, but they really should be better. Cincinnati's 7-3 at home. But they're also a team they didn't really play that well in the last week. They're 3-4. So who gets right in this series, Tampa or Cincinnati?
I picked Tampa because Tampa's going against the 5, 6-1 starters for Cincinnati. I think Tampa's going to take 2 out of 3 here. Maybe I'm biased because I picked Tampa to win the NL East. So I think it's going to be Tampa just sneaking out 2 out of 3. I think you got the offense to survive, and I think you might even have the better pitchers going, for the series.
Do you have a bet with somebody that you have to say on every single episode that you pick Tampa to win the AL East?
I should. Just maybe it's part of the drinking game.
You're 4 for 4 on it so far.
Hey, that's how much I believe in Tampa.
I'll be honest, and I'm being honest. I'm not downplaying Tampa, because I'm not even going there. I think Cincinnati has a better chance at a sweep in this series than Tampa does of winning the series. It's a combination of Cincinnati being at home. Tampa has not played well on the road. And again, Tampa's offense is inconsistent, and they're going up against the team that is first in the NL in ERA at 2.46, first in the NL in starters ERA, third in bullpen ERA. They're first in opponents average. They're holding teams to a 195 average on the season and a 222 BABIP. They're first in defensive efficiency. Tampa is not known for manufacturing runs. And their offense took a big hit against a pitching staff in Toronto that not as deep. I mean, they're just not as good as they have been in the past, but also their starters are, granted, Hunter Johnson's a big part of it. And Tampa does have its best starter going tonight in Tyson Oswalt. But then you got Tristan Beck, who, okay. That's all you could say about that. He's actually pitched really well this year, but he's known for blowups. And then you got Carlos Meza. I'm sorry, but the matchups tilt heavily towards Cincinnati on this one. Outside of
I think though, but Cincinnati is 1-4 in 1-run games, while Tampa Bay is 4-1. Extra inning games, Tampa's 3-1, and Cincinnati hasn't played any. So I'm thinking these are going to be close games, and Tampa just knows how to win right now, those close games, and Cincinnati doesn't know how to win them yet. Give them time to figure it out. I think that they're a good team, Cincinnati, and can play havoc in that NL Central. But right now, I'm thinking close games. I'm thinking Tampa has the advantage. That's just me.
The one thing that Tampa does have going for it is all 3 of their starters are right-handed, and Cincinnati has not fared well against right-handed starters. They're what,
4 and
4-7?
7.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, they're 4-7. They're 4-1 against the lefties. The one thing that'll be interesting for Tampa, and then we're gonna cut out, is Kevin Clancy's coming back, presumably tomorrow, and he may start. He might start tomorrow night. He'll probably, you know, might not be till the weekend, but he's going to go back
No
into
rehab
rotation. It's
assignment.
got to be a probably not. It was a day-to-day injury. It wasn't it wasn't a major injury, so he probably won't do a rehab assignment. But who knows? We'll see, but probably not. So that'll be something to watch. All right, Scott, we're at our end for today. Do you have any final thoughts for this episode this week? Anything you wish to part with?
No, I love the parity that we have this year so far. Like I said, a lot of teams are 500 or better, or right around the 500 mark, and I think that's great for not only MLB Pro, but for the future and for upcoming trades and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited to see what's going to happen if we can continue to keep this many teams kind of in a race this year.
Yeah, it's definitely a parity party. There are some good individual matchups this week. It'll be interesting to see how things shake out for next week. But until then, for Scott, I'm Comey. Thank you for listening to episode 4 of Rough Draft. I hope you have a wonderful whenever it is, wherever you are.